Some guy on my Discord server asked, how do you make this shape right here with clean topology with no shading artifacts? So we're going to fix that right now. So just a couple of preliminary comments to help you understand this situation. What we have here is a cylinder with a sort of taper. And to create that shape, what we do is we take two vertices from across this cylinder. And with J, we create a new edge between them. So that way, if we place a 3D cursor there and we activate our shear tool, we can select this face and we can shear this up. And then we go over to the other side where we do the same thing. Then once we do that, we want to create some bevels on these edges for shading purposes, for supporting geometry when we're using a subdivision surface modifier, because everybody knows when you have n-gons and when you have a subdivision surface modifier, some bullshit like this usually happens. So you select all your n-gons and with Control B you create a bevel around those n-gons, and that creates your supporting geometry. But now we first have to make this bevel completely sharp, so we set the profile shape here to 1, and also over here at the corner we don't want to have this shape because this is something called a concave polygon. A concave polygon is a face which has an inner angle greater or equal to 180 degrees, which is the case in this situation right here, as you can see on this little polygon. So first of all, we want to set the miter outer here to arc from sharp, and that creates these two quads here instead, so we fix that up a little bit. But now the problem is that we have a big n-gon down here, another big n-gon over here, and that is bad topology. As you can see, we have this seam over here. If we look at this object, we can go up here to change our viewport shading to this line shit, and that makes the seam a little bit more accentuated, so you can see it a little bit more clearly. You can see clearly there's something going on here which shouldn't be going on. So the solution is we have to wire up this geometry. Now here's another little principle I want to introduce to you before we talk about the final solution. Let's say we have an object like this subdivided cube right here. It's a pretty low poly object. This is a cube with 2 levels of subdivision surface, and we have an active subdivision surface modifier on this object. Now if we take two vertices from this object and we join them with J to create this diagonal edge, that creates something called an e-pole, which is a vertex which has more than 4 edges connecting into it. And when you have this on a curved surface, it's bound to create some type of problem. So now if we go to object shade smooth, you can clearly see that there is something going on here. And if we activate the line thing one more time, you can clearly see that it's a pretty big problem. We don't want to have this on our object. However, if we add another cube over here and we add more levels of subdivision surface, so we have more faces on this object, and then we throw in a subdivision surface modifier, we go object shade smooth. Now if we take two opposite vertices here and we join them with J, you can see that the artifact is much more subtle. It's much less visible than it is over here. And the reason for this is that these artifacts created by these e-poles on curved surfaces become more visible when they're sitting on an edge with a sharper angle. So for example, let's take this plane right here. We subdivide it a couple of times and we join these two vertices here with J. If we add the subdivision surface modifier, since this is a flat surface, you cannot see this artifact at all. Now if we take this part, so we have a vertex over here which is an e-pole, and then we take this surface and we rotate it to bend the surface. The more we bend this surface, the more visible this shading artifact becomes. As you can see now, it's completely obvious, but if this is only slightly bent here, then you can almost not see the artifact at all. It becomes practically invisible. So this is something that we have to apply to this scenario where we're trying to fix this problem. We have to keep that in mind. And when you have a cylinder like this one, which has only 32 vertices, which is a default number of vertices when you create a cylinder, the angles between individual faces are much greater than they would be on a cylinder with, say, 128 vertices. So for example, if we add a cylinder over here on the side with 128 vertices, you can see that it's pretty hard to tell the individual faces apart because the angle between them is so small, or rather the angular difference between the normal lines is very small, whereas over here the angular difference between the normal lines of these faces is much larger, so you can see the individual faces. And that's why the shading artifacts created by an e-pole are going to be much more visible on a surface like this one. So first things first, you probably want to increase the number of vertices on your cylinder. Maybe you don't want to go with 128 vertices, but at least do something like 64. It's not gonna break your model. And then we take these two faces up here, we bevel them with Control B, and as you can see already, the shading artifact is much less visible than it was on the low poly cylinder. Now of course we didn't actually fix the topology here yet, so we still have to do something about these n-gons over here to make this completely go away. And to do that, we will do the following. We have to add a loop cut around here. Since we have an n-gon, we can't add a loop cut that goes all the way around the object because the edge loop doesn't know how to behave when it encounters an n-gon, and this is one of the reasons why you want to keep your topology clean. This is something that I talk about in my Blender Masterclass course. So if you want to learn a little bit more about topology and all this crazy shit that nobody really likes to talk about, then make sure you go check that out. There's a link in the description. So So instead of trying to add a loop cut here, we can just take this loop from the bottom and lift it up, and then we just extrude this back down to where it was originally. So now we have some extra geometry, and we're going to use that geometry to clean up these n-gons over here. So first of all, we want to add another loop cut here and another loop cut here, and then one more up here and another one up here. We're going to join this here with J to create a little triangle like this, and then we take this vertex, we join it together with this one. We'll do the same thing over here on the other side, and now as you can see, we got all quads except for these little triangles, which you could get rid of by adding another loop cut to the middle and just sliding this to the side so you don't have a concave polygon. But either way, it doesn't make much of a difference. As you can see, we have a triangle here and a quad here, and there is no visible difference between the quality of this surface. So probably you just want to keep this triangle here for simplicity's sake. You don't really need to get rid of it unless you are being tested by some stuck-up studio that just wants to see that you can create shit without any triangles. Then maybe you want to get rid of it on principle, but right now you don't really need to do that. Right now, if we apply our subdivision surface modifier to this object, you can see it looks absolutely beautiful. If we activate the line shit one more time, you can see there is practically no shading artifacts at all. We can even try the horizontal version of these lines to see if there's anything going on this way, and it looks pretty damn perfect to me. So if you want to, you can maybe just push these apart a little bit further by taking this edge segment and lowering it down on the z-axis a little bit, just so you don't have all these edge segments squeezed together so closely. But as you can see, that is how you fix the problem. If you want to ask another question, you can do so in our Discord server. There's a link for that in the description. Don't forget to check out my Blender Masterclass course and my Blender Pro Tips ebook for just a bunch of other Blender tips. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one.